Middle East a bit. I want to just first talk to, it's supposedly Donald Trump. Yeah, he's an isolationist, and he's really skeptical about war. And I see even people who identify as like contrarian left sometimes falling into this. Why is it that there have been more civilian casualties in Afghanistan in the past 3 months than there have been in the last several years? This guy, whatever small limits that the Obama put in place, which, by the way, the Obama administration implemented a global drone war, which not only took thousands of civilian lives following Bush's global torture, global war regime, that they even made it so that in certain drone strikes, you couldn't even measure civilian casualties because you're going off of behavioral patterning, which definitionally excluded understanding whether or not you were hitting civilians. Donald Trump has gotten rid of any limited strictures on this stuff. He is pummeling human beings across the globe. This redeployment in Syria, which is leading to the savagery that Turkey is unleashing on the Kurds. And then what has he done? He's deployed additional troops to Saudi Arabia because God knows what kind of emoluments and corruption issues there are between Kushner, Trump, and Saudi. I believe this is clip number 5. We'll start with clip number 4, which is Nancy Pelosi asking why Trump is sending additional troops to Saudi. And then we'll go to Trump's, really smart, coherent, and anti-interventionist response.
The president said, well, the reason I'm taking the troops out of Syria is because I promised in the campaign to bring the troops home. My question to him was, is Saudi Arabia home? Is Saudi Arabia home? Why are our troops going to Saudi Arabia if you promised to bring them home? He said, well, the Saudi Arabians are paying for it. Really? We're putting our troops in harm's way for Saudi Arabia because they're paying? It just didn't add up. But what it did do was cause a meltdown on the part of the president because he was unhappy with those questions.
Well, she's exactly right. That's actually a very effective talking point. And let's go to clip number 5.
You probably saw, some of you wrote and covered the fact that we're sending some additional troops to Saudi Arabia. That's true. And I appreciate the fact that I negotiated for a short period of time, a matter of minutes, with Saudi Arabia, and they've agreed to pay for the full cost of all of that deployment and more, much more. A very rich country, they should be paying, and so should many other countries be paying if they want this kind of protection. Same thing with NATO. We're at 4% and other countries are at 1%, and certainly a European country benefits much more than we do with NATO.
Donald Trump is the accentuation of empire. There's not a withdrawal of empire. It's the next phase of empire. And I don't want anybody on the left should fight a return to NATO and the Atlantic Alliance and all of this type of global regimen that rose post-World War II that has devastated vast parts of the globe with coups and right-wing regimes, that committed a genocide in Vietnam, that has engaged in murder and atrocities from Bosnia to Afghanistan to Iraq to Libya to Syria, and is a co-participant going back to the Obama administration in the genocide that the Saudis are leading in Yemen. But all of those steps, including in Yemen, have been accentuated and added on by the Trump administration. People better understand that Trump is the fulfillment of empire, of imperialism, of global savagery. That's the reality. And that is the closeness with Saudi and Israel and other pernicious global influences, as well as this emerging crop of neo-authoritarians who are committing barbarism in Brazil, in Kashmir, in the Philippines, and across the globe.
Can't leave, and it's like, then what happened to all of the people who are anti-war? There used to be this really strong anti-war left, and one of the things that Trump has done is that whenever Trump says anything, the people that hate him automatically take the reverse position. So Trump says, and he ran on this, I don't want war, we can't be the world's police, all of those things, most of which, especially from my libertarian side, I agree with. Well, then we're pulling out, and then people are saying, well, no, now it's going to go to hell in a handbasket, and we can't pull out, and all that other stuff, knowing full well that for the people on the left, if this was Obama or a Democrat president, you'd be all about pulling out. I'm trying not to make a pull-out joke there, but that's sort of...
He is such a fucking moron.
But I will make the pull-out jokes if the Democrats don't stop supporting infant genocide.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe the pull-out method is better than murder. By the way, if Donald Trump actually pulled out of Afghanistan, I would support it.
It's funny how left contrarians sound exactly like Dave Rubin on this issue.
Indeed. And by the way, I supported very strongly Donald Trump negotiating with the North Korean leader. And strongly savaged Democratic Party and cable news hacks who fear-mongered about that. I'm glad those meetings happened. All right.